Thank you. We will all feel stuck at some point in our lives. So how are we going to respond when it happens to us? I am so passionate about this question, and I'm passionate about it not only because I've been stuck, and I have, and more than once. And I'm going to close on my personal story. I'm passionate about it because as a career and leadership coach, I have seen people embrace being stuck as an opportunity for growth and to use the process of getting unstuck to transform their lives for the better. Imagine a continuum with bliss and flow at one end and clinical depression at the other. And somewhere around the middle for most people is a condition I will call being stuck. And it's different for each person, but a common theme is my current circumstances are preventing me from living the life I feel I was meant to live, and I have to defer that life to the future. The research is mixed on how and why, but it all agrees. Yes, we will feel stuck at some point. Forbes tells us 2/3 of us feel stuck at work. The Harvard Business Review suggests a U-shaped curve to our careers. So if you only hold on to midlife, things will look better from there. Surveys tell us we feel stuck in our finances, our past, our underemployment, our marriages, our parenting, our paradigms. We even feel stuck in our bodies. You may be asking, am I stuck? Ask yourself Kitty's question. I lost an amazing friend, Katy Hansell, last year to breast cancer. And when she was first in remission, she asked me, if you found out you had little time left, would you be living exactly as you are, or would you want to make some pretty dramatic changes? And when she answered it for herself, she said she was 100% living her dream life. She would not change a single thing. It was so powerful, so inspirational. And I now try to ask myself that same question every day. There is nothing like scarcity to get you to focus on living. So how do you get unstuck? I'm going to share with you my 5-step system to get unstuck at work. When we feel better about our work, we feel better about our whole lives. So getting unstuck in your work is a great place to start. Step 1, you want to get some clarity about your vision for your work. Let's say you don't know exactly what you want to do. You could begin by identifying what types of experiences put you into flow. What are you attracted to and you want more of? What are you resistant to and you want less of? For example, you could say, I like working on cross-functional teams, on cutting-edge problems, with innovative people. I want less time in meetings, less time on the road, and more flexibility for my family. The second step is you want to get a really compelling value proposition. How do you create value from your work? And the best way to communicate it is an ABC statement. So I could say, I provide career coaching is my A, the service I provide, to B, my ideal target audience, so that C happens, the benefit. So I would say, I provide career coaching to women reentering work to facilitate a smooth and effective reentry. The third step is you want to market test your plan. You do not want to develop your plan in a vacuum. You want to talk to lots of people who are already in your field. You can conduct informational interviews all the way through your process, and you'll be able to refine your plan, and you'll be able to do a better mapping of your skills onto the opportunities in your space. The fourth step, brand you. So why do retailers spend millions of dollars on advertising to develop brands? So that we will all have the same mental shorthand. When we buy the product or service, we know what the benefit is we're going to get. We see the Nike swoosh, we think high-performance athletic wear. So what's your Nike swoosh? What's the benefit you want to signal through your branding to your future target employers? Step 5, lands you in the right work for you. You want to be super strategic about your job search. Think about what is the unmet need your work solves. Find the employers that have that unmet need, and then educate them on how you can solve their problem for them. So that's a little bit about how to get unstuck at work. But how do we stay unstuck? To stay unstuck, I believe we have to cultivate the resilient mindset of a leader. When I work with leaders, we focus on developing the 3 capabilities that are the foundation to a resilient mindset: reframing, agency, and self-acceptance. Reframing means just select a different frame to view your experience in so it shifts your feelings about it. High-performing leaders are great at reframing their perceptions and their language. Neuroscience tells us your perception drives your outcome. So if you truly believe you're going to get a great outcome, you are way more likely to. The same is true with your language when you think and speak about the opportunity. You want to reframe passive language to empowering language. You want to use affirmative statements, even to yourself. Yes, I am creating something special here. Yes, I can do this. The second foundational capability for a resilient mindset is agency. How do you exercise your free will to have what you want to have happen in your life? High-performing leaders have a healthy sense of agency. They feel empowered in their lives. They feel like they are the directors of their lives. When people struggle with agency, they can feel disempowered in their life. They can feel a victim of their circumstances or be tempted to blame others for their results. They can even feel so unworthy and undeserving as to think their own dreams are too big for them. They'll either shrink their dreams to fit the smaller sized version of them, or they'll deny themselves their dreams, saying, I guess it was just meant for someone that has something I don't have. Don't be the one to cap your own potential. Don't be the one to box you in. Another way we hold ourselves back is to be overly focused on the results other people are getting. It only serves to distract you from what you are building. The antidote is simple. Focus on something bigger than you. When you transform and get unstuck, who else will benefit from your transformation? Think about them. How do you create additional heroes in your story? The third capability for a resilient mindset is self-acceptance. Just being comfortable with who you are, exactly as you are, in the present moment. The truth is, we're all works in process. We're all in the process of becoming. We are never going to reach a perfect life, nor were we meant to. You just want to have more chapters where you're unstuck and fewer stuck, more congruency with your values, more alignment with your purpose. And if you can do that, then I believe that you are a success, especially if you can also use those times when you're stuck to leverage into an expanded version for yourself. When I see people struggling with self-acceptance, I invite them to consider forgiveness work, forgiving others and forgiving yourself. Until you have fully forgiven, you're still bound to your past. But when you can fully forgive, it frees you up to accept who you are. I'd like to share a little bit with you about my own story. So it was in my 30s when I first thought I might be stuck. And there was a gap about the size of a fissure between my ideal life over there and my daily life over here. And by all objective measures, things were going great. I graduated from business school with my MBA. I even landed my dream job as a consultant with a management consulting firm. And I got to travel around the country tackling interesting strategy questions and working with great people. But in the back of my mind, I began to wonder, was I meant for this work or for some different work? Maybe something more heart-centered. And was I doing this job for my purpose or my ego? It was as consuming as it was exciting. I spent my last year and a half there commuting every week from Chicago to Houston, flying down Sunday, flying home Friday. On Saturday, I paid my bills and swapped out my clothes. It was not the kind of job or the kind of life that I could see would be compatible with my ideas for getting married and having a family. So fast forward to my 40s, the gap went from a fissure to a chasm, even as it was the decade with my greatest personal joys. I met and married my husband. We have our 3 sons to raise, and we even bought a home. And the pendulum swung for me 180 degrees. I went from 80-hour weeks, 5 days a week on the road, to stay-at-home mom, from the boardroom to the playroom, from trying to convince men 3 decades my senior to make multi-million-dollar decisions, to trying to convince my toddlers to stop drawing on themselves with Sharpies. And I felt conflicted because I saw all around me these super women, you know them, the ones that have 1 foot in the high-powered world of work and 1 foot raising a family at home. And I couldn't figure out how to fuse these 2 independent realities. They both seemed to require more of me than I had to give. And I often felt invisible. I felt invisible when people would say to me, "And what do you do?" And I felt invisible, sometimes even at home with my own family. And as I see with other people I work with, it took a pretty dramatic wake-up call to get me to dive first into living my purpose. On the day of my wake-up call, my gap went from a fissure to a chasm to the Grand Canyon. Throughout my 40s, I had had a lot of medical issues, resulting in many separate surgeries. And on this day, I found myself at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, waiting to have a 4-hour full-body CT scan, CT standing for computed tomography, like an X-ray on steroids. And I had had some earlier testing that suggested I might have a life-threatening condition. So my husband and I were weaving our way through this underground labyrinth of tunnels that forms Mayo Clinic, trying to find the imaging wing. And all I saw around me was a steady stream of wheelchairs, tethered to IVs, being pushed by attendants. And it suddenly hit me. I was swimming in the same stream too. This could be it for me. And I lay down on the concave bed, had the contrast media injected into my veins, and was fed slowly into the machine. And I had my epiphany. My choice was clear. While I could not control my medical future, I could control. What was I going to do about my life? Was I going to stay stuck? Or was I willing to make some pretty dramatic changes to get unstuck? And my challenges to getting unstuck became clear to me. I was letting fear dictate my choices. I was resistant to being as vulnerable as I would need to be to live my mission. And I had not fully forgiven myself for all the mistakes I had made in my life. So I made a pledge right there. If I live through this, I am going to use my highest gift, which is intuition, to help other people overcome their inertia and create momentum to live their lives of truth every day. And I knew I couldn't just say the words. I knew I was going to have to live them. I was going to have to embody them in all the choices I made every day. And I had finally broken free of this paralyzing fear. And I was flooded with gratitude and conviction. And when I look back on this experience, I am so glad to be here and be alive. And I'm also grateful for the experience because it got me to focus. It shook me to my core. And it got me to commit to doing what I had to do to get unstuck and live my purpose. And now I strive every day to stay in high service to others. And every morning when I wake up, I feel like I am living my dream life too. My idea worth spreading is this. While being stuck can feel like it's disrupting the momentum of your life, it can be the way through to a better life. When life upends you, you get to choose you. I would like to invite you to consider the possibility that we as humans are meant to live in this dynamic tension between being stuck and getting unstuck over and over again as the way we consciously choose anew each time to move closer to our purpose and to stay in high service to others. There is no easy way to get unstuck, but a way I have found that works is to take consistent, concrete action every day. Through concrete action, you can create enough momentum to break through your own self-doubt and get into your dream life, the one that awaits you when you're ready to fully commit to live it. And my wish for you is that your journey from stuck to unstuck brings you closer to the true you. And every morning when you wake up, you feel like you are living your dream life too. Thank you.